Welcome back, football fans. It is the Champions League semi-finals and they start tonight. PSG hosting Bayern Munich. We're going to dig into the data and I'm going to put together my own prediction before using OddAlerts AI to see what it thinks about the game as well. And then we'll also be using the BetSlip Generator tool to find other angles for tonight's games across Europe. There are some very, very big games in England. So without further ado, let's get into it. So just to set the scene first, this is our football rankings page. It ranks all teams in the world by our own custom metrics, firepower, fortress, etc. You can see Bayern Munich are 6 for their Champions League record. For their Bundesliga form, they are 4th with a firepower ranking of 91. That is out of all teams in the world. Now, when we look at the match rankings, 24 hours. Across the next 24 hours, the top game in the world for Firework Ranking, which is basically entertainment value. How entertaining will a game be? Just under 70% rating. So, with that said, let's check out the data. So first up, our probability model here. We can see we are favouring ever so slightly Bayern Munich, 40.6%. As always, let me know what you think is going to happen in this one. Any comment in this video is automatically entered into a draw to win OddAlerts Pro, so get your predictions in on this massive game. 500 likes is the target as well. If that is hit on this video, I will be back tomorrow morning covering Atletico Madrid against Arsenal. We scroll down to see goals and we can see over 1.5 goals, 85% rating, 67.3% for over 2.5 goals. Let's see how both of these teams come into this game. So PSG are the home team, of course, and we can see plenty of clean sheets recently. Certainly in the Champions League, they've played a couple of English teams and knocked them both out in the last couple of rounds. Across all competitions at home, they have scored 3 or more goals in 5 of the last 10. Not perfect form by any means. We can see that they drew and then lost to Monaco in succession. But against the majority of teams, they do score more than once now. Bayern Munich are not the majority of teams. And just sticking with PSG and looking at the goals conceded, they are conceding goals at home. In fact, they have averaged 1.43 goals conceded across those last 10 home games that we mentioned. Now for Bayern Munich, and this is their Champions League form this season, pretty good, just 1 defeat, but away from home is where it gets quite interesting. Over 2.5 goals has landed in every single game, as has BTTS, and they've had some tricky away games. They've already been to PSG and won 2-1. That is the headline, I think, from this view here. They've been to Arsenal and lost. They've beaten PSV at PSV, and they've also gone to Madrid and won there as well. They scored 6 in Atalanta, which is pretty impressive as well. And if we look at their overall form, they are currently on a 9-game winning streak. They have secured the Bundesliga already. This is the game. They were 3-0 down at half-time to Mainz after securing the Bundesliga the week before. Maybe they've had a few beers, whatever you call those really tall glasses. My mind's gone blank in German. But they will have been well rested for this game, for sure. Their focus has 100% been on this game. And the same goes for PSG, you would imagine. Now, we mentioned that Bayern Munich are favourites with our probability model, which means that you can actually get a little bit of value here. There is about 5% value, 5% edge on Bayern Munich winning with the majority of bookmakers. You can see the peak there with Dafabet at 2.8. The bookies are finding this one very, very tough to call. And just before we check out some card data and also some player prop data, we have some interesting data from the head-to-head section. There has not been a draw between these teams, ever. So make of that what you will. Bayern Munich would probably take a draw this evening, wouldn't they? Let me know your predictions in the comments, of course, and this data goes back to the year 2000. Just checking out some card data, it's quite interesting. Bayern Munich receiving 2.17 per game in the Champions League this season, 0.71 for PSG. Both teams do try and control games. I think PSG do that a little bit better than Bayern Munich, if I'm being honest, this season. And Bayern Munich will need to stop certain players in that midfield, Neves especially for me, if they are going to have any joy in this game. And I do think Bayern Munich, just touching on cards again, we look at cards 4, they are a team that pick up quite a few cards here and there for a team that does try and control games. And even in the Bundesliga, where they are the dominant team, they're picking up 3 away from home, 6 away from home, 4 away at Madrid, 2 at St. Pauli. They get carded quite often. There is a blank there, which was at home to Stuttgart. This is an away game against a very, very good opponent, so I would expect the cards to continue for Bayern Munich, especially as Vincent Kompany is the manager, and he has learnt from the very, very best in Pep Guardiola in what is a tactical foul and what is not a tactical foul. So now we jump to the player props tool for this fixture. It's going to combine all of the players, show you all of their metrics. You can look across the last 10 games, 5 games. You can look across the last 365 days if you want to. We're going to keep it to the last 10 games so we can see who's coming into this nice and hot, and we can see accurate passes. That's what we were looking at previously. Let's take a look at something else. Well, let's take a look at fouls committed. This is usually what people want to see from this kind of part of the video. Fouls per 90 minutes. Konrad Lehmer for Bayern Munich, not sure he will start. Luis Diaz, 1.9 per game as the pressing winger. I do like Diaz. I've already priced this up. Diaz to commit a foul and be fouled. The odds are pretty short, as you might expect. So maybe not the best value there. Upamecano, he's had some high-profile, dodgy moments in recent Champions League campaigns, hasn't he? He's got to be on his best behaviour tonight. Will he make a mistake? Yet to be seen. Pavlovic in the middle for Bayern Munich. What a player he looks like. The battle in the middle is where this game will be won and lost. Make no mistake about that. The technicians in the middle for PSG, if they're on it and they're not suffocated, they can win any game against any opponent. Absolutely. Let's take a look at fouls drawn. This is where my head is at. So we can see here, Olise, across the last 10 games, 3.26 fouls won per game. Musiala, who is just coming back into things, 2.55. Joao Neves, 2.18. Another of those brilliant technicians in the middle. I think fouls on him are necessary, and Kompany will know that, and that is where my head is at. So you can continue researching on this tool if you want. I will drop the link in the description. But for now, we're going to go to Bet365 because I do have an idea on this game. Let's take a look. So I'm going to go with the model and with my belief. Of course, this is a Champions League semi-final. This goes without saying that anything can happen in these games, but I do believe, having watched both of these teams this season, that Bayern Munich do have the edge. I think they're such a complete team at this moment in time when they're on it, and the players that they have, Olise is just on top of the world at the moment. Harry Kane is sensational. Luis Diaz is exactly what Liverpool have been missing this season, that energy, the tireless nature of his pressing, and all of that combined with the defensive capabilities and the engine that they've got in the middle, I think they can get at least a draw in this game. PSG are a fantastic team, of course, but they can be beaten. I think they've shown that this season. And Bayern Munich to pick up a card or two, hopefully two, on the way to getting a result away from home. And Joao Neves, as part of that game plan from Kompany, to be suffocated and not given time on the ball. Vitinha, similar story. But I think Neves to win 2 fouls or more, to be fouled 2 or more times. That is my selection, 3.5. Now we're going to go to OddAlerts AI, see what it has to say. It has to think. It is thinking, I guess, about this game. And then we'll end with the BetSlip Generator. So OddAlerts AI, what do you say? What do you make of this game? Let's take a look. We hit generate analysis here. and it's going to give us a match preview. PSG arrive on an 11-game home scoring streak. Bayern boast an unbeaten run in their last 15 away fixtures, so straight away that's pretty nice insights, isn't it, into the game. We can see some of the stats here is sort of what we've uncovered already. I didn't know that Bayern were unbeaten in 15 away games. That is pretty good. BTTS in 100%. We saw that in their Champions League form, didn't we? Most likely outcomes, over 2.5 goals and BTTS. I think this is what most punters will be on tonight, but the odds are really, really low. Given, for me, PSG have shown that they can shut out teams. I do think there'll be goals in this game, by the way, but I just think the odds don't really make it worthwhile in terms of adding it to your bet builders and such. The away win is a value bet, 4.6%. If you can get 2.8, as we saw with some bookmakers, then you would be getting even more edge there. So the Bayern away win, the Bayern draw no bet, double chance, take your pick there. The bet builder that it is suggesting Bayern win and over 2.5 goals. Avoid under 2.5 goals. The model is only giving it a 33% chance. And then we end with some key stats here. BTTS in 100% of away games, clean sheet in 36. Bayern Munich scores first in most games, and PSG a goal after 70 minutes in 57% of games. That is a pretty interesting metric, isn't it? Will we see late action in this one? We'll have to wait and find out for tonight. I can't wait for it. But now, let's jump and use the BetSlip Generator. So this is the BetSlip Generator, and you can see my settings here. We're targeting odds of 2.5. 3 items per slip, so a treble, and the markets that I'm going to focus on in this example is over 1.5 goals, an away goal, or a home goal. So we can hit run, and we get games from Japan, and Japan in the top treble. We have a treble from Japan. That is pretty interesting, isn't it? All taking place on Wednesday. If we scroll down, we get games from Latvia, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, and you can see our target odds have been hit here, 2.59, and it's getting a nice mix of those markets as well. And we've got more games from Japan here, a home goal at 1.61, 4.6% edge. That is a value bet. Now, we didn't toggle value bets only on, but that doesn't mean it can't still include value bets. We then have over 1.5 goals in Egypt, at 1.3, and then an away goal in Israel as well, and that is negative value on the whole slip, so it'll tell you if the whole slip combined is positive or negative edge. You get 10 selections per generation. You can run again and it will give you new generations. Link to this tool is in the description. As we come across a game there, Southampton against Ipswich. If you're a fan of the Championship, you will know that that is a huge game. Ipswich to score a goal at 1.3, so they are expected to score against a Southampton team that are just coming back from that Wembley defeat. That is a huge, huge game in the automatic push for promotion. Southampton, I would make them favourites for that game. Let me know what you think about that. And of course, about the Champions League. If you want another video tomorrow, 500 likes is the target. That is the challenge. It's not hard, is it? Just get down there and hit the like button. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow.